want to thank everybody for being here. Welcome everyone. It's that time of year again. Very exciting for us. We've had a long fall, had a long break over the fall. Came back this spring. We've scrimmaged quite a bit against ourselves. It was nice to play an outside game with the alumni. We had a great turnout with the alumni game. We had over 70 players come back, former players, and I want to thank them, first of all, for all the support that we have from our alumni, but also the guys that played in the game. We had a number of guys, big league guys, former big league guys, and again, more minor league guys, but you know, most of the guys played 9 innings, which you don't see very often. They stuck around and played all 9 innings, which is really beneficial to our team because we're trying to get ready. And opening day is right around the corner. It's Friday night. We open up with Penn State. It's a Power 5 team. One of our former players and coach, Rob Cooper, is the head coach at Penn State. And you know, after a while, you're beating up on each other and playing against each other in so many scrimmages. I know our guys are looking forward to playing outside competition. That's what's so nice about the alumni, along with seeing so many guys come back and having some fans in the stands. But it'll be a little more crowded come Friday night, and I know our players are looking forward to it. We're very excited.
Coach, big change in the lineup from the alumni game. CJ Cafis hit leadoff for pretty much all of last season. You hit him 3 in the alumni game. What's kind of the difference between him hitting leadoff and him hitting him 3-0 this season?
Well, I don't know. That was the lineup for that particular game, and it could be the lineup Friday. I still, talking with Lopes earlier today, and I'm still kind of tinkering my head exactly what is going to take place with our lineup. The key is going to be the leadoff guy. That's the first guy you put on paper. We think Dario Gomez can possibly be that guy. CJ, we know, certainly handled it very well last year, but you're going to have somebody do that, handle that responsibility, which is huge, the leadoff guy, and set the table. Not only that, the 2-hole hitter. Eddie did that a lot for us last year, Villegas, and if those guys can do it, well, you'd like to have your best guys up with those guys on base. But you can look at it the other way around too. You want to have your best guys up as many times as possible. Hitting CJ, who's arguably our best hitter, hitting leadoff will hit the most in a game. So it's just one of those things we're going to have to play with a little bit here. I might go with that same lineup. I'm not sure. But, having CJ and Yo-Yo hit together does interest me a lot, excites me. I think that's something that can help be beneficial to both guys and our team. So we'll just have to wait and see.
So do you have a feel for what you have as a team this year? And are you pretty sure what you have, or are you still up in the air about it?
I think you're always kind of a little up in the air. I don't think you ever know for certain 100% exactly what you got. Every year has its own identity. I'm not sure we thought we were going to be as offensive last year as we were, and we were pretty offensive. We think we have the guys in place that can score runs. The pitching guys, they got to prove themselves. We know one of the things that was one of our weaknesses last year was certainly having some efficiency from our rotation. Carson Palmquist was dominating when he was on, but consistently we didn't get efficient outings, not only from him, but then our 2 and 3. That's going to be very, very important for the success of our team. We think we have the guys to do that, but they got to, at the end of the day, they got to prove it. They got to produce, and they got to be consistent.
So that, having said that, do you go in with a certain feel, like a style you want to play, and then it might be different when everything kicks off?
Yeah, it always changes. I want to try to run a little bit more, but running in college has gotten so hard. Teams do such a great job, even more so than pro ball, of guys slide stepping, picking, and being quick to the plate, changing their times. It's a major emphasis, I'm sure, with a lot of college coaches in trying to slow the running game down. It doesn't mean we have to steal bases, by the way. Just be a good base running team. I do think we have some guys that can run and base run well and can help us score runs. At the end of the day, that's the end of the game, is which team scores the most runs. And we could have used a few at the end of last year, certainly. So I'd like to think, the identity of the team is we got some guys in the middle lineup that can hit for power. We got some guys throughout the lineup that can run a little bit. We don't have too many buffaloes, as we would call them, in the lineup. Maybe a couple, but not too many. I'd like for the identity of our team to be our starting rotation sets the tone for this team. That can go deep in the game, 6-7 innings, and turn it over to our bullpen, which we feel good about, and we have arguably the best closer in the country.
Gino, do you have your weekend rotation set up yet? Or
I do, but I'm not announcing other than Friday and our closer. Penn State came out with their Friday night guy and will not let us know about their other pitchers, so I'm not going to announce other than Gabe start Friday night, and our closer will be Andrew Walters. Walt.
And just in kind of the same vein, obviously don't have to name guys, but like losing Carson, losing Jake, are tough hits to any rotation. Just who do you see being potential guys who could step up to fill those roles?
Yeah, so some of the guys that have been battling in the rotation, which we had about 7 guys, I want to say, and then we've kind of brought it down a little bit. Walt was one of them, by the way, but he's back in the closing role would be Ligon, Rosario, Chestnut. Rafe Schlesinger was kind of there, but we had a couple injuries, which you might ask me about. We lost 2 guys for the year, had season-ending arm injuries, and they're both left-handed. So JD and I, that could change our our philosophy there with Rafe, because we got to have some lefties in the pen. And so he was a guy that was kind of looked at as possible starter, but now we're looking at him being in the bullpen.
Who were the guys who suffered the season? Who were the guys who suffered the injuries?
So our first guy was Ashton Crowther. He's a high school kid in the Central Florida area, Lakeland area, I think. And then the other one was a junior college transfer, Miles Caba. He was from South Florida Community College. So both guys unfortunately went down and had surgery the same day, which was last week, I believe. So yeah, they're out for the year.
Tommy John.
What are some potential challenges you expect to face against Penn State this weekend?
It's opening game, so I mean, no team is going to be at their peak, and shouldn't be. We want to kind of have a season where we can continue to get better and better and better, and be at our peak at the end of the season. But I mean, I think if anything, the challenges that come with it is just handling. First of all, the lineup. Only 9 guys are playing. That's probably the biggest challenge. You're scrimmaging, everybody plays in terms of position players. Okay, everybody in the lineup, both teams, everybody's playing and getting at bats. Now you have 9 guys. That's why the alumni game is good for one reason there too. Also, is you put up one lineup. Now I try to play everybody, which we did, as the hitters are concerned. But the starting lineup, and that's the case come Friday night. There's going to be a starting lineup, and not everybody is going to play in the game. Not all 19 hitters, and of course, not all pitchers always pitch anyways. But so that's one of those things that players are going to have to handle and deal with. And it's a saying that Coach Morris used to say that I agree with 100% is the players make out the lineup. I just write it in. We go off of their production. We're going off from the fall and the spring and how they've produced and who we think the best guys are to give us a chance to win. Having said that, we've got a deep team, and we will play a lot of guys, whether it be late for defense, base running, pinch hitting, left-right matchups. We do have a lot of options that we can do there, and so we will do that. But that along with just the crowd and handling that, especially young guys. The good news is we got a lot of veteran guys in our lineup, but there'll be a few rookies. Handling a bigger crowd than the alumni, the adrenaline, and being able to control all that stuff, those are all things that will come into play opening night.
Seals Friday night, right?
Pardon?
Seals Friday night? Seals Friday night?
Seals Friday night.
Can you talk about him a little? I used
Yeah.
to be last year. Just what
Correct.
made you comfortable with making the Friday night guy?
Makeup, character, mentality, basically mentality, along with stuff. All the guys have good stuff. Gage pitched well for us out of the pen last year. He could have arguably been one of our starters, but for our team last year, we thought that was the best role for him, and he was kind of a setup guy, so to speak. He went off and had a very good summer in the Cape. Worked on his changeup. He's basically, and that kind of kept him maybe out of the rotation or looking at as a possible starter last year, because he was basically a 2-pitch guy. Fastball, mid-90s with a hard breaking ball, kind of a wipeout breaking ball. Changeup was a work in progress. He worked on that this summer. It's a better pitch. That's going to be an effective pitch for him to get lefties out. That's going to be a big key of seeing how he pitches to lefties. But he's got that bulldog mentality, and just a mentally tough kid that we think can handle that spot as a Friday night guy.
Coach, we just saw the weight room downstairs. Can you talk a little bit about how that's kind of helped the continuity or the consistency of preparation, the off-season for this program leading into this week?
Well, the weight room is so important for the development of all the players, obviously, and their bodies, and getting stronger and faster and more flexible and everything that goes with it, powerful. Our weight room before was just, it was great, but again, it was probably 13 years since we built it. It was just too small. For 35 players, it just wasn't efficient for us. The guys with class and study hall and practice, and all the things that go on with a student athlete, their time is so demanding, and then try to get them in an hour workout was very difficult. You can't do 35 guys in there, nor do we want to, but it would be 5, 6 guys in that small weight room. Well, now you saw, sure, as you went in there, we can get a lot more guys in there. We can get more things done. It allows us obviously more space, but now we got a lot of new equipment. And with time and everything is always updated technology. Weight room is no different, maybe more so than anything. The weight room seems, I walked in there the other day and then I looked around and I went into the workout and I looked around and said, I don't even know what to do in here, and I walked out because things have just changed over time. But it's huge for our program, huge for the development, most importantly, and then secondly for recruiting. When a recruit comes by and walks in that weight room and sees that, because they spend a lot of time in the weight room, a lot of time. I think that's just going to be huge for our program.
We'll do a few more for Gino.
We went in there after shakes and pizza.
After shakes, that's a good time to do it.
Gino, as far as midweek guys, who are you thinking possibilities?
Yeah, I don't know that. It's all those guys that I mentioned, Susan, pitchers that I just mentioned. So it's all those guys are battling to be in the rotation and be our fourth guy, which would be our midweek guy.
Is Carrier 100%?
Zoe is 100%, and no issues with him, so he's full go. Yep.
Gino, just going back to Gomez, what does he give you in that leadoff spot that kind of stands out to you?
Yeah, he's a mentally tough guy. You hear me saying that a lot because that's what it takes to win here. And he's kind of an old school. That kind of goes hand in hand. Old school and mentally tough, but he's hit at a high level at the D1 level and been successful. And so he's a guy that's he's a tough guy to pitch to. He's going to hopefully be a guy that goes deep into counts, a guy that gets on base. He can use the whole field hitting. He can run. He's excellent in the outfield. I know this doesn't go to your question of being a leadoff guy, but I tell you, he's really, really good in center field, and he can throw the ball. He's thrown a number of guys out in a short period of time, which is great. I wouldn't be surprised if he has a number of putouts or assists in the outfield position, but we just think from a standpoint of he's one of our 2 fifth-year guys, so he's one of our older players on the team that's got experience, and it takes a certain kind of mentality to be the leadoff guy. We just think he's that kind of guy.
You mentioned a lot of your players have been mentally tough. We talked about Gades being mentally tough, Dario being mentally tough. Does that feel like a theme of this year's team? That they're a lot more mentally tough than they were at this point last season?
It better be. If we want to go to Omaha, the team needs to be, as a team, mentally tough as any team in the country, if we want to get back to Omaha. Just to me, that's the biggest thing probably that's keeping us from getting there. We just got to be mentally tough as a team.
Coach, what stands out to you most about the ACC this year with so many teams successful in the regular season and the conference last year?
I don't know if it's any different. I mean, it's still very competitive. Every team is really good. I think the same team. I mean, for years, Notre Dame was not one of the teams you looked at as one of the top teams in our conference, and they go to Omaha last year, and the year before they went to the Super Regional, had a good year, and so it's just very, very competitive, up and down the whole conference. Anybody can beat you on any given day. Look, in our sport, it doesn't matter. I mean, Mississippi got in as the 64th team. What sport does the 64th team get into the tournament and win the national championship? You guys might know that answer. I don't know that answer. I know it doesn't happen in basketball. I don't know what other sports have 64 in their tournament, but baseball is just it's a unique sport. Our conference happens to be one of the better ones in the country. We beat up on each other. I don't know if that's good or bad. You would think that it hopefully prepares us for the end of the season, but man, we play the Gators every year out of conference, and we're playing in the state of Florida. Most of our out-of-conference midweek games are in state Florida schools. So, we'll play one of the tougher schedules in the country like we always do. We just got to take care of business.
Awesome. Thank you, Gino.
Okay. Thank you.